Hello, everyone. My name's Jake.
And I'm Jared.
And this is Bite-Sized Media. This is our first episode, unfortunately without Dickie, who has abandoned us for Colorado. We're going to be doing a short series, one that we're just going to use to kind of serve as a buffer while we look for another co-host. We're going to be watching Sherlock, the contemporary series from the BBC, not the one on CBS with Lucy Liu. Yeah. So this has got...
Yeah. Elementary is the name.
Yes. This has got Bilbo and Smaug.
Smaug!
Or, what's his character's name in the Marvel universe?
Doctor Strange?
No.
Martin Freeman?
Freeman.
What was it? It was like...
He's only in like one movie, right?
2.
Civil War.
3. He's in the Black Panther movies.
Is he really?
It's like Ross or something.
Wow, it's like,
but not Thunderbolt Ross. It's like a different. It's like Eustace or Evergreen or Elwood.
It's not like I've seen every single one of those movies and can't hardly remember a single one of them. Anyways, the reason we picked this again is because it's short, but also it's because it was one of my favorite series when I was, fresh getting out of college and was in the big Jake Doctor Who phase.
And I was in high school.
Yeah.
What is it? 2010.
I never
2010.
I never really finished it. I stopped after season 2. And Jared's never been exposed to it.
None of it.
So we're really looking forward to just kind of digging into it.
Yeah, it's exciting because I like Benedict Cumberbatch, Cumberbun, yes.
Cinnabon.
Cumberland.
Yes.
I like him, but everything I've ever seen Martin Freeman in, I really like Martin Freeman. I think he's in all 3 Cornetto trilogy movies, and then all 3 Hobbit movies. He's the best part, easily one of the best casting decisions.
That's not
in that
saying.
universe. It's not, but he you could have cast you could have cast him different, and it's infinitely worse.
Okay, so you say that, but I think Cumberbatch as Smaug is a better casting decision.
He's barely in it though.
Yeah,
got like 2 scenes.
Fair.
He's also the necromancer voice.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And the behind-the-scenes footage of him like on all fours with the mocap going is the man goes all in, and that's why I'm excited to see these 2 in action battling baddies. Isn't that what they do?
Kind of. If you consider. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. It's offensive.
Oh, well, we're starting with what episode, Jake?
I believe it's A Study in Pink.
Yeah, which did not come out till 2011, according to my notes, but it's basically a reworked version of the unaired pilot.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, the unaired pilot. I've never seen the unaired pilot. From what I hear, it's an Americanized version of A Study in Pink, which, if you're unfamiliar with these, they're not really like hour-long episodes. They're kind of like mini movies almost. They're like an hour and a half or an hour and 18 minutes. How long is A Study in Pink? Do you have that laid out?
I don't have that in front of me.
They function as TV movies basically, and there's like 3 episodes a season ish.
British TV.
Yeah, British TV. So sorry, it's series.
Oh,
not
series.
Season. And put my pinky out when I do that. Series.
88 minutes according to IMDb for A Study in Pink.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember really liking the episode. They do a lot of things that I like to see in movies. A la Stranger Than Fiction, Edgar Wright movies. You'll see when we get into it.
All right. I'm excited to start.
You got anything else?
No, I'm excited. Well, let's get ready for an hour and a half of fun.
I wouldn't call it that, but okay. Let's
take a bite.
Hello there. We just got done watching A Study in Pink, the premiere episode of the contemporary, would you call it?
Yeah,
contemporary Sherlock?
Yes.
I don't know if there's
the recent BBC Sherlock.
Recent, yeah.
recent. Well, yeah.
Let's see. The final episode aired in
2017.
2017.
Which, I mean, is
I suppose that's
7 years
fairly
ago.
recent. Well, considering that this episode we just watched aired in 2010.
2011, technically, even though it's the first episode, because I think the unaired pilot was kind of that. That's what it was telling me.
Wikipedia
IMDb.
says July 25th, 2010.
Interesting. Wikipedia says, Wikipedia does say, or IMDb does say 2010. Where did I get 2011?
I don't know.
I must have.
You were saying it all throughout the thing that it was, oh yeah, that's 2010, and you're right, but
Yeah, that's the thing about, because we both were not only alive, of course, but like conscious of things like this, because you were like 2010 you finished college, 2010 I was a sophomore in high school. We're aware of things. You're of course more aware of something like this because you're in college, and whereas high school it's like this is like before streaming took off, so it's like not everyone could sit at home and just pull it up whatever they wanted. Still, there was some streaming, but it wasn't as big.
I'm gonna confess a little bit here. I think I watched this originally on news groups. So, do you know what news groups is? It's like legal torrent.
You broke the law.
No, like I said, legal torrent.
You cheated.
Yes. Back when this was originally airing, it was before BBC America existed. And it was just at the start of like the Doctor Who, it was before the Doctor Who getting popular type stuff, before they simulcast it. And it aired, and then you'd have to wait like 8 months for it to get over here. But people recorded it and posted it online. So it's not like a DVD transfer that I watched. It's the actual airing of the show, just not on a television.
Gotcha. And did you jump on right away, or is this someone brought you? What brought you to this originally?
A story of woes.
A story of woes.
Her name is Natalie.
Gotcha.
That's all I need to say.
Gotcha.
She's kind of, well, if Drew was a precursor to me watching Doctor Who, she kind of took that and got me interested in British television.
Gotcha. Basically, though, this other person got you into the show around the time it started airing. Makes sense. Gotcha. Long story, but yeah, I remember hearing about this coming out because Sherlock Holmes is I believe what's it called? What's what I'm looking for?
Well, you did call him an asexual icon, but I don't know if that's specifically this Sherlock Holmes or just...
He literally said he's married to his work. It's kind of a retrospective thing, too, from what I've read. Like, it's not like Conan Doyle sat down and said that, because that wasn't a terminology known.
Yeah.
But it's kind of in retrospect. It's like, yeah, the thing he puts above all is his work. He's just obsessed with it. But I was trying to say the actual character is public domain, I believe. There's no copyright, so that's why there's so many Sherlock Holmes things. Same thing with, like, Robin Hood. You can just keep doing it because no one owns it.
Yeah.
And that's why you have, like, Elementary, we mentioned in our opening, is another one that's been running. And you have, the two Guy Ritchie movies are the more recent, quote-unquote. It's not super recent anymore. You got the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes from way back. So I think they even do... Yeah, I think it's season 2 is The Hound of Baskerville. Yeah. Which is a very, very popular one, which might have been the first Conan Doyle one.
I
don't know much.
I don't know either. I know I have a copy of The Hounds of Baskerville that is like it's like one of the first prints of it.
I feel like in like a class in high school or college, we like listened to a radio play of The Hound of Baskerville. Hounds of Baskerville. I keep saying Hound of Baskervilles. It's Hounds of Baskerville. So that's what I think I've heard, and then I've seen bits and pieces of things. Basil Rathbone is perfect for Sherlock Holmes. Which, I don't know if you know much about Basil Rathbone at all.
No.
He's very good at playing villains. He's just got that face and that's like sneer about it, like that. He's the villain in the Errol Flynn Robin Hood from the 30s, and he's also the villain in The Court Jester with Danny Kaye, kind of playing the archetype. I can't remember the character in the 30s Romeo and Juliet he played that he got nominated for. I wish I could, but like when I saw him, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. He's probably a little too old for this role because these are teenagers and he's like 30, but they all were in that movie. But
I was going to say, to be fair, most of the people that play those types of roles are much older than the character is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't think that Leonardo DiCaprio was 15 when he played Romeo.
But getting back to this episode, so it's what I appreciate about it being what is essentially 90 minutes is there is a lot of time to let the two of them get to know each other and to get used to each other while simultaneously happening with the plot, which I feel you've seen way more than me, is how this will go forward. You have the two sides, coexisting, interlocking, and weaving together, whereas this one is they're getting, what is the word I'm looking for when you're getting to know someone? It starts with
Bonding?
It starts with an A.
Acquainted,
maybe. There's another word. I'll think of it after we turn the camera off. That's
of course. No, I think what I appreciate about this is it's not... Everything plays off of itself, but it's not so interwoven that you couldn't watch something from the third season first or The Abominable Bride first and then go, oh, I want to watch more of this, and go back and watch whatever. Each one of them is obviously based on a Arthur Conan Doyle novel. This one, I believe, was actually titled A Study in Pink.
Just updated, of course, to be
A Study in Scarlet.
Study in Scarlet.
Yeah, obviously it's updated for very clearly the 2010s.
Yeah, we were talking about like how when they're outside, it's not like early 2000s overexposed where it's early digital overexposed, but
very
it is
high contrast.
Yeah, very high contrast. Saying like, okay, they're inside like a white lab when they first meet, and his hair is like pitch black. It's like, I don't think his hair is that dark.
I don't know.
And the shadows are super intense.
That house had a lot of shadows in it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Very defined areas of light.
Yeah, and what I also like, because whenever you have someone who's brilliant portrayed, you wonder, okay, if the mystery is easy enough for us to solve sitting here, are they really that smart? Or, if they're this smart, why don't they figure it out that quickly? I like how he's not always right, or he's close to being right, and there's plenty of breathing room in that, because I was thinking for the first half of it, why does he need Watson? Now, this episode establishes how he becomes his assistant of sorts. Mm-hmm. Why would he need him? And then you realize he's the grounding force. Mm-hmm. And establishing him as a soldier as well, not just a doctor, also gives like that physical edge to it, because Sherlock is very intellectual and mental.
I personally like also how this does, I'm not going to call it a twist, but it kind of is a twist, because it's like in a normal procedural crime drama, an American procedural crime drama, you would kind of get clues as to who did it.
Yeah.
And like in something like, this is a hyperbolic example, but in something like Law and Order Criminal Intent, you actually see the person.
They give you the perspective of the perp.
Yeah, or you see him
the perspective. Sorry.
Yes. Or you see him. It's no one we've ever met before.
Yep.
In fact, the reason that Sherlock was wrong, he was in the right spot, but like
focusing on the wrong person.
Yep.
And I like how they portray him like he is that smart, and that does lead to many people issues, because that's just the smartest people in history were, I don't want to say crazy, that's not a good word to say, but like
self-focused.
Yeah, because the brain power is specialized into one area or one thing, they just don't have other parts.
It's almost like you can either be intelligent or empathetic. You can't be both.
Yeah, so like him, like just leaving on a whim, or how he treats people. It's like, because you'd think, oh, well, how can you gotta stay away from him? And I was thinking, like, it might be annoying, and it might come off as insensitive, but when you realize that's how he functions, it's not like he's being rude to you, or like, it's not like he's trying to be insensitive. That's just how his mind works. Doesn't mean he shouldn't apologize for things. It just he's so focused on one thing, he just keeps moving.
I also like that we don't see everything that's going on in his mind. Like, he doesn't tell us everything.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a thing.
Mystery to it.
I feel like that's a thing with like American dramas, where like you'll
Spoon-fed.
get this information dump of everything that's going on in their head, or like, if it's like Criminal Minds. I haven't seen much of that show, to be honest, but they'll like show you this map, and these are all the dots that I connected to figure it out, and there's just a fair bit that's held back from the viewing audience here. And then, you get to watch a bunch of 2010 stock footage of roads going by as they are running clearly 30 feet in a circle.
Yep. It was a little hard to know what was going on. Like, I know he's trying to cut off, he's memorized London's street map, and he's doing all this, like calculating in his head where to cut them off, and it's like, I get it. It's just because of the way it's edited and lit, it's very hard to see what's happening. We're also watching it on a projector. Like, I think that takes away some of it.
One thing I do want to mention, we had Doctor Who month a while back. A year or
that was
so.
I think that was like 2022.
2022,
almost 2 years.
Oh my goodness!
Because we did Avatar for almost a full year. Took a break, came back to it this year.
Anyway, this was written by Stephen Moffat this show was created by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss. Sorry, not Gatkiss. Gatiss. They are two prominent writers on not contemporary Doctor Who, but like the second half of contemporary Doctor Who.
What Doctor did they start with writing?
They started with Matt Smith, I believe.
Okay, so what Doctor is he?
11.
11. So from 11 to what?
11
to now?
12.
Okay, so just
Smith
and Capaldi.
Russell T Davies just came back for the kind of reboot
for Shooty.
Shooty, yeah.
Okay, so Moffat took over for Davies as showrunner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and people aren't big fans of Moffat's or post Matt Smith, because everyone loves Matt Smith.
Yeah, I think at a certain point his writing hits a ceiling that you can feel, but you didn't really like Doctor Who month, and for a variety of reasons.
There's a lot of content. It's out of order. It's out of context. I hadn't seen much.
And you said about this isn't really the type of show that I would pick, that I would choose to watch.
Yeah.
Compare it to this.
I really liked this. I think it comes down to two actors I am familiar with that I like a lot. You have two very familiar characters, but just modern spin on them. They're both interesting characters that are given extra layers above the source material to make them interesting without telling us everything we need to know. And the presentation, while trying to be very dark and edgy, because that's when everything was changing, late 2000s, early 2010s, when everything started being anti-heroes and grittier. Like, it's kind of fitting that.
Anti-hero.
This isn't. I'm saying that era.
Okay.
Where everything had to be more
everything post Endgame.
What?
Everything post Endgame focuses on anti-heroes.
Post Endgame?
Yeah.
Like Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
I was saying it started with Sopranos, but like the boom happened with Breaking Bad and Mad Men right after.
Oh yeah.
On TV. That's like the rise of the anti-hero, because I'm like, Ray Donovan is another one that I think is an anti-hero.
To be fair, I didn't watch Breaking Bad until 2012.
Same. I didn't watch it till 2013. Actually, you started after me. I think I finished before you started. I finished in early 2014.
Doesn't matter. One of those years.
But just that's like late 2000s, early 20s. This is like the anti-hero boom, and again, sure. I wonder if you could make the case for Sherlock being an anti-hero of sorts, or just like not, because it's not that he's a bad person. He's just kind of neutral. He's in it for the sport of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw that. spoilers for The Lady in Pink, or A Study in Pink, sorry. You see that in the last scene where he gets kind of, I don't want to say manic, but obsessive about, was I right? And we as the audience never get to figure that out.
Yeah,
which is really interesting.
But again, it comes down to what is the value of knowing compared to, you caught the guy. You know how he did it. Do you really need to prove you're smarter than him? And he's obsessed, so he has to. Which I like the presentation of him too. There are many similarities to things in my personality, but he is, leagues smarter than I'll ever be. But there are times where he's like,
he's kind of a jerk like you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to a people skill thing. You don't realize it in the moment. But I actually have empathy after the fact where he just keeps moving. But like when he's trying to think of stuff on the fly, and he's like, you turn around, I don't like your face, and would you please stop? I know exactly how it feels. Probably a lot of people do. Just this moment of just everyone stop. Just let me figure this out. He figures it out. I don't. I just go crazy over it.
I think for me, as far as the writing, this is kind of, it's a very different show. It's hard to compare. I think that this is Moffat's stronger of the two sort of writing styles.
Between this and Doctor Who, you're saying?
Yeah. I think
Two
so.
completely different things.
Very, very different.
And this one is he created it and started it. The other one is a continuation of a canon.
But then also, like, I think the writing in it is compelling enough to overlook some of the weirder 2010 choices.
But it worked. It's enjoyable.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's fun.
Like, I still think I think it's aged pretty well, even though it looks so old.
Yeah, it's weird how we're getting to the point of, like, I don't remember it looking like this when it came out. It looks so new and modern, and then now we watch, it's like, because of how things have progressed, it's like, oh man, does this look just outdated.
Well, and the other thing you got to remember is it's made for TV, so
that's the other thing, yeah, which is so different now because most the bigger budgets go to the streaming thing. So when you watch something that's actually on TV, usually you're like, I can tell this is a TV thing, but it's harder now because TV is so much more cinematic these days.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that about covers A Study in Pink. We don't have to go into how the plot works because there's so many moving parts and so many details.
It's also, I mean, Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He's just so well known. Like, I think a lot of these are the big ones that people know. Like, the next one is a Sign of Four.
That's not the next one.
That's one of the ones that it's based on. It's
Gotcha.
loosely based on The Adventures of the Dancing Man.
Gotcha. I was gonna say there's the Sign of 3, but that's I think series 3.
But then the Reichenbach Fall is based on. I read this one. I know it. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong.
The Orville Reichenbach.
Sorry.
Fall.
I'm looking at the wrong. That's Reichenbacher. Sorry, that's Rickenbacker.
Yes.
Anyway, anything left to say?
No, let's watch another episode next week.
Yeah. I think we'll plan on doing this on Thursdays for a while.
Yeah, just a bit.
Where can people find us?
The socials. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, our funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
And you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell. Check out our groovy website. Also, with our schedule, just going forward one more time, it will only be Thursdays going forward. And once this series is over, we got other new stuff at the end of it. But for now, it's just going to be Sherlock every Thursday with me and Jake.
And as that, let's
take a bite.